Okay, guys, so real quick, I want to talk about how, in this case, it is not hypocritical if you may be a person that's open to all different types of people, but you don't support black men and a lot of non-black women. And I'm going to explain what I mean, okay? Because I'm going to tell you about me. Growing up, I never saw a problem with black men and white women together. It never crossed my mind to feel any kind of way. I just saw them as two people being together. Granted, it was a lot of them, like my cousins in Texas, right? You won't hardly find them with a black woman. All of them, it might be one, but all of them that I know in Texas are with either white women, Spanish women, or whoever, or European looking women, but they're not with black women. And I literally meet all of them. It might be one, okay, that I met of my cousin that might. So what I'm saying is, I saw all of this growing up, and it still never bothered me at all, okay? And the reason it never bothered me, because they were just living their lives. In my opinion, I just saw them as living their lives. They weren't hurting anybody, right? But over the last 13 years, since 2006, well, really longer than that, because even growing up, even though a lot of my male family members would get with white women, I did grow up hearing before even the internet, but definitely before YouTube. I did grow up hearing about how a lot of black men talk about how they just prefer white women but at that time, growing up in the 80s and 90s, their reasons was because they felt like white women were more liberated in bed, okay? That was the reasons back then. Now in the 2000s and maybe the late 90s and 2000s, it was always about black women having a bad attitude and black women wearing weaves and black women all this and that. But I remember growing up in the 80s and part of the 90s, a lot of the black men, they preferred white women because white women were more liberated in bed, and probably were around that time. They were more liberated in bed, And so I did hear all of that, but even hearing all of that, it didn't make me feel any kind of way towards their union. But over this last, especially 13 years with them going on YouTube, and a lot of them along with their white women, I saw the reasons for a lot of them getting with white women. And so they would get online and taunt. They would brag on whatever white woman they were with, and they would taunt black women and talk about how the white woman was so much better. Okay, now it's no longer about preference, because if you just prefer to be with who you want to be with, then you wouldn't see the need, you wouldn't even use your energy to turn back and taunt another group of women. So the fact that you're gonna date this other woman and turn around and taunt another group of women means that this is not about preference. This is not about preference. This is about you breaking the spirits of another group of people. This is what that's about. It's no longer about preference. This is about psychological warfare. Okay, it's a difference with being who you want to be with and be happy, and then a group of men going to these women and turning around and calling black women every name in the book. This is no longer about preference. You're trying to break black women down, okay? And so here's what I want to get to. And around that time, then I got to the point where unless I know the particular black man and I know the particular black women, unless I know the particular black man and I know the particular white woman or non-black woman, I don't support them in them being with white women. But it has nothing to do with hypocrisy. It has nothing to do with jealousy. It has nothing to do with the color. It has nothing to do with no race mixing and all that stuff. It's because why would you support collectively a group of men that literally get with these women, but can't seem to just live their life. They want to turn around and taunt you anyway. Okay, so I don't support that. Okay, you don't have to say a lot of negative things about black women in order to be with the white woman. Just be with the white woman. Just like Harry Belafonte said that he felt like being with, and Nick Cannon said this too, felt like being with a white woman was like it meant that you have arrived. So for me, black women don't have to support that, because for the most part, a lot of black women, when they are in interracial relationships with white men or non-black men, I can honestly say a lot of these black women, especially even when I look at the family vlogs on YouTube, like Gay Babe TV and other shows, I can honestly say these black women did not. It don't seem like they saw these white men as being better than black men. I think these black women just are happy in their relationship. Okay, but when you hear, I just haven't heard a black woman say, well, I like to be with white men because they at the top of the food chain and black men at the bottom. So I would hear black men say this a lot. Harry Belafonte said it, and Nick Cannon saying it. And the thing is that you have to realize that just because most of these black men might not be speaking up and saying it, doesn't mean that they don't feel the same way. Okay, and so what I'm saying is, no, you're not a hypocrite for not supporting their unions, because they have told on themselves. This is not, a lot of their unions with these non-black women are not necessarily about love, so I don't have to support it. And then they get with these women for some reason, they like to get with these women and still tear down black women. And I didn't get that. And I'm going to be honest with you, more importantly, I never understood the women who were okay with that. Because for me, it is a bigger problem. For me, it is a bigger issue that the women don't see anything wrong with that. And that's another reason why I don't support these other women. Because just like you have these Spanish women talking about, Latina women talking about where black men cater to us. Yeah, but you see them trash their own women every day. And whether it's truth in what a lot of them say, it doesn't even matter, because they don't have the room. They really don't have room to say a lot, So, but you see these women witness how these black men trash their women every single day. And they get their butts on TV and online or whatever and say, well, black men cater to us. See, I don't respect a woman that does not care about how, like, say, if I wouldn't want to be with a white man that just trash white women every day. That don't make me feel good. And that lets me know that these ladies, actually, their self-esteem is actually lower than that of black women. You take these men away, you take these men away from putting them on a pedestal, and you're going to see that their self-esteem is actually lower than that of black women. Because what kind of woman would sit back and allow a man, like a black man, and think it's okay for him to tear down his own mother, for him to tear down his own group of women? I mean, she should say, well, whatever issues you have, try to work it out with them, but don't tear down the wombs that gave birth to you. Don't do that. Try to find a way to work things out. But these women ain't say that. They were happy. A lot of them, not all, but a lot of them were happy. They felt good that black men were tearing down black women. It made them feel good about themselves. And so that lets me know that actually I feel like their self-esteem is actually lower than that of black women. Now, it's hard to see it that way, but I don't know too many black women that are so happy to be with a white man that's going to tear down white women. I would not want to be with the white man that tears down his own group of women the way black men have torn down black women. I would not want to be with the white man like that. I don't find that attractive. It's not flattering, and any woman who finds that flattering has very low self-esteem. And to be honest with you, you don't see a lot of black women who are flattered by, another group of men tearing down their own women for them. Okay, I don't see that, but you see Latinas like that kind of stuff. They like to see, a lot of them like to see black women torn down, and a lot of these white women, they like to see black women torn down. To me, that is a group of women who have some very, very, very low self-esteem. But a lot of times people like to look at black women as having the lowest self-esteem because they are seen as the lowest on the totem pole, and they are so desperate. Mostly it's because they're so desperate over black men. That's most of the reason why they seen as having such low self-esteem, because they so desperate over black men. But and I can understand that, but at the same time, to me, that is not worse than being happy over another race of man or culture of man putting down his own mother and being happy and just feeling flattered over that. I don't see black women doing that part. And so for me, these other women really, they have some extreme low self-esteem to take pride and joy in these men tearing down the wombs that gave birth to them. See pride of them devouring them, killing them, beating them. You know, these women are happy to see that. And so for that reason, to get back to the point I was making, that is the reason why I don't feel like it's hypocritical for black women not to support the unions of black men and non-black women, for the simple fact that they kind of told on themselves. Most of them, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them made it clear that they have a hatred for black women. And it lets you know, and then they go online and say, they compare you to all these women. They say that you're not feminine like the white woman, or all other women are better than you. And so for that reason, it lets me know that their choices was not just about a preference, because if it was just about a preference, then they would go on about their business and be happy with these women. Just like I've dated outside of my race, right? That was a preference for me to be with who I was with, because I didn't turn around and bash black men, right? So when you, just like I would say, if black women would like flip the script, right? And if it was black women going online and tearing down black men and saying, well, white men are better and Asian men are better, you know. See, you have some black women to do that now, but it's only because it's only because, to me, in my opinion, they didn't do that until after black men spent 13 years tearing them down on YouTube alone. Okay, and now you hear black women, but in my opinion, I did not hear black women do that before. Okay, so this sounds like some type of revenge and bitterness with some of these black women to do this, right? But they weren't. That's not naturally how they are, because if that's naturally how they were, they would have been done this before. Okay, but what I'm saying is that if it was black women that did the same thing black men did for all these years, like Harry Belafonte, and then like saying, well, white men are a come up for us, so we don't want you because white men are a come up. And black women should have been the first to do that, because the black men are supposed to be the patriarchs, the community. They were supposed to be the patriarchs of the community. We are in a patriarchy. So actually, black women would have had every right to do that. Okay, they would have been well within their rights to do that, but they didn't do it. Most of the back there around that time, majority you couldn't even get 5% of black women who dated outside their race. Okay, but what I'm saying is, had it been black women doing the same thing that black men had been doing, and black men were the ones who were loyal, like flip the tables, right? Say if black men were the ones that were loyal, but then it was black women that did the exact thing they did. You know, talk about how white men are freakier, and how white men represent a high status, and how white men are better, and how white, you know, everything, you know, flip the script and say, just the way, you know, and say if black women did the same, you know, said the things about white men in all these years, like, oh, did he miss it? Oh, he missed it. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I hate that. But, you know, and tearing them down all on YouTube, right? If black women did to black men, and put every race of man over black men for all of these decades, for all these years, I would say black men would be stupid in supporting their interracial relationships unless you know that particular black woman and that particular non-black woman personally. I would say black men would be stupid. So this is why I say it is not, in my opinion, it is not hypocritical if black women do not necessarily want to support the unions of black men and non-black women. It's not hypocritical because of what has transpired, okay? And what has transpired is black men spent years tearing down black women and going and literally trying to tear down the spirits of black women. And they use non-black women as a weapon to help to tear them down. And so I feel like when you have some black women who feel like you have to look over all this, and if you choose to date interracially, then you're supposed to support black men who do it too. I take issue with that because most of the black women who are dating interracially are not doing it because they want to tear black men down. I don't hear might hear some black women do things now, but like I feel like it's because they are still angry over what black men have done, honestly, because I didn't hear all of, black women weren't doing that prior to like maybe 2016 and 2017, right? You hear a lot of some black women doing that now, so you can tell it's only because black men spent so many years tearing them down and now they're angry, okay? But for the most part, no, it's not the same thing. If black men had just been with these women and been happy and just went on about their business and not turned around and made it a point to tear down black women, then yeah, I can say, oh, black women are hypocritical for not supporting black men and their non-black relationships. I would say that they're hypocritical then, but the fact that the black men, took their time with their non-black women to make sure to turn around and make sure the black woman knows that she is not preferred, and to let black women know everything that she's doing wrong and everything these non-black women are doing right. I'm sorry, I'm at this, I have to say that as much as I said about a lot of black women, I do feel like the self-esteem of these other women are a bit lower than that of black women, because I just haven't seen black women so thrilled to hear white men tear, because there are some white men that just really go in on white women, okay? And I just haven't seen a lot of black women that have been thrilled and happy and so flattered that white men tear down, some white men tear down some white women, right? You just don't hear black women who are thrilled to hear that. And there are quite a few white men that don't like white women, okay? But I don't hear black women who are so as flattered as white women are when black men tear down black women. And that lets me know that their self-esteem is actually lower, okay? That's why I said black women need to know that they're not on the bottom, they're actually on the top. Because why would a group of women at the top be so flattered that black men tear down black women? If you're at the top, why do you want that to happen? So that's what I'm saying is that it's not the same thing. So I'm gonna end here. It's not the same thing, okay? You're not a hypocrite for not supporting their unions for the simple fact of what they have gone to do for so long, and they made it their mission to tear down black women, and they use these other non-black women, and these non-black women were happy to oblige these black men in the psychological warfare against black women, okay? You don't see white men and Asian men and all these other men using black women to tear down their group of women, okay? For the most part, a lot of black women who are with white men are just being happy. For the most part, a lot of black women who are with Asian women are not being happy. These men are not using black women to tear down Asian women. These men are not using black women to tear down white women. But black men have used non-black women to tear down black women, okay? And a lot of these non-black women were happy to oblige these black men. And so, no, I don't think a lot of black women are being hypocrites. Excuse me. I do not think that black women are being hypocrites if they choose not to support black men, and if it's for that reason. I don't think they're being hypocrites, because it's not always about jealousy. In my case, it's not about jealousy. It's not about jealousy, because I grew up not caring. That's why I started off saying at the very beginning. I grew up not caring. I honestly grew up not caring about black men and white women. I grew up and did not think anything of it. So some of us who don't want to support black men and non-black women, it has nothing to do with trying to control their penis. It has nothing to do with jealousy. It has everything to do with the fact that now we understand that a lot of their unions are not genuine, and a lot of them have used these women to cause a race war. Okay, I think it was Egypt, and I think she said this a couple of years ago, that black men are causing a race war between non-black women, and like between white women, Latina women, and black women, because they go to these white women and they go to these Latina women and they tell them, and Latina women have told me this themselves, they go to these women and they say, oh, black women are jealous of you. And so they cause a race war, or a war. I'll just say a war, period. They cause a war, and they cause division between black women and non-black women. A lot of these men want black women to be alone and isolated. Okay, even when I was talking to a Latina woman, she said that it was a black woman who worked at a job with her, and it was a black man, right? And when this black man saw that she was becoming friends with this black woman, the black man did not like it. See, this black man, a lot of them are all about division. They're trying to cause division. They want to isolate black women. And so, no, I can't get into all of that. Well, if you don't support black men with a non-black woman, then you're being a hypocrite if you date interracially. I know. Not after everything I just said. This man, a lot of these, collectively, I mean, even if it's not all, it was enough to make an impact, right? These men have launched psychological warfare on black women, along with their non-black women. And you did not see black women when they get with when black women get with non-black men, for the most part, it's really genuine. You don't see them turn around bashing black men the way black women have turned around and bashed black women. It's not the same thing. Why would you support a group of people who tear you down? And they use their non-black women. A lot of them use their non-black women to tear you down. So that means I'm not going to just blindly support them. I'm so sick of black women having to be this light mother. I'm so sick of black women having to be so loving and open and all this stuff. No, I don't have to support black men in their non-black unions. I don't have to support it. Now, am I jealous? No, I'm not jealous of it. I still don't care. I still don't care. So maybe I should have said that from the beginning. I don't care, still. It don't hurt my feelings. I probably should have said that from the beginning. Because for some reason, it's like a black woman is just supposed to support no matter what. Just support. And if you don't support, you're bitter and angry. But it's like you're not allowed to have self-preservation. Okay? Like I said, if black women would have, if the script was flipped, and black women for decades did the exact same thing black men did, I would say black men would be dumb to support black women in their unions, knowing goodness well black women turn around and tore them down every chance they got, along with their non-black men. So it's not about being jealous or hypocritical. It's about, for me, it's about using some common sense. It's about using common sense. Why would you support people who tear you down? And so, like I said, to end this, unless I kind of know them personally, honestly, unless I know them personally, I no longer support their unions. Now, am I upset that they get together? No, I still don't care. I see them all the time. I don't care. It don't make me feel any kind of way. I don't feel rejected and all that mess. But somebody's going to come and say that because the perception is the black men, so-called black women are just, they all just want black men. I don't know. Somebody will come and hear this audio and think that, I don't support, black men and non-black women unions out of some jealousy or some... I don't know why, I have to be jealous or I have to be trying to control a black man's penis simply because I say I don't support them. Why does it have to be like that? Let me tell you something. I'm dark. I'm dark. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's that light worker mess. That's that light worker mess. I don't support people who don't support me. More than likely, if I was to be with a white man, black men would call me all kind of bad wenches, right? And then after they force me not to be with the non-black man, they go around and be with their white women. And their white women or non-black women, a lot of them, not all, are so happy to oblige them in their quest to tear down black women. And knowing this, why are black women forced to support them? Knowing this, now it's the difference between being jealous. You don't want to be jealous, okay? I don't want to have to keep repeating that, and it's so sad that the fact that I have to keep repeating that means that black women are not allowed to have self-preservation. At the end of the day, the fact that I have to keep saying that means that black women are not allowed to have self-preservation. They're not allowed to exercise their instincts the way white women. If white men and black women got together every chance they got to tear down white women, like say the way black men and white women have got together to taunt black women. If black women and white women, if black women and white men got together in that same manner and torn down white women, it would be a consensus. It would be unanimous that heck no, do not support black women and white men because we gave birth to these men and they got the nerve to turn around and tear us down. It's just like it's natural. But for some reason, black women just have to be this long-suffering like mother. No matter what people do to her. But had black women and white women got together and did the same thing to white women that black women and that black men and white women have done to black women. I know this is tongue-tied, but had black women and white men got together and done that same thing and got together and torn down white women would have been said, oh heck no you don't. We're not going to give birth to a group of men that's going to tear us down. They're going to get with another woman and then got the nerve to tear us down, and we the ones spending time and labor and carrying them and taking care of them. We giving birth to them, but they got the nerve to get with another group of women and tear us down, and we keep giving birth to them. White women would have said, oh heck no, a long time ago. But black women are not allowed to think, to use common sense. Black women got to be hypocrites because they don't use the common sense that a white woman would use. Okay? So no, I'm about to end it now. No, black women are not necessarily hypocrites because they do not support black men with their non-black women for those reasons I just stated so many times before. And to be honest with you, any non-black woman, I don't care if she's Indian, I don't care what it seems like they will understand this. But I don't know what it is about this black woman that feel like you gotta be this light mother, long-suffering Aunt Jemima. Okay? That you have to, that no matter what he has done to you, you're still supposed to support them, and that you don't have to support them because this is a patriarchy. Understand? This is a patriarchy, right? And they abandon their communities. And not only did they abandon their communities, they turn around. They abandon their children, they abandon their communities, and then they turn around and tear down the very women who gave birth to them. And people can say what they want to say about black women. I made so many audios about how I feel about black women. But I'm not going to keep saying that over and over again every time I make an audio. I know people want to, say things. I've said what I had to say about black women in so many previous audios. But in my opinion, black women should have, the way white women would have stopped giving birth to white men, had the shoe been on the other foot, white women would have stopped giving birth to them. And I feel like black women should have stopped giving birth to black men. Giving birth to a group of men that disrespect you. And so what I'm saying is that these group of men abandoned their communities, they abandoned their children, they ran off to non-black women, and not only was that not enough, they had the nerve to launch psychological warfare and use all these non-black women to help tear down black women. But black women are called hypocrites for not supporting their unions. And I just don't get that. I don't get it, because you can't even play a white woman with those words. You can't even play a white woman like that. You cannot have the white man abandon his community, have the white man abandon his children, have the white man, for example, run off with a bunch of black women and a bunch of Asian women, and then he had the nerve to turn around to not only abandon his white community and his white children and run off to other groups of women, but then he had the nerve to turn around and bash white women on top of that, knowing goodness well that he hasn't been a patriarch, that he has not been a patriarch, and he has a nerve to go with other groups of women to bash, if this was the white woman, if the shoe was on the other foot and this was white women, right? And this white man had the nerve to do all of that black men have done, and then had the nerve to turn around and go to other non-white women and bash them. Don't you know white women would have probably stopped giving birth to their behinds because they didn't see any advancement of their group of people. They would not have seen any advancement, and white women would have been put their foot down. But it seems like if a black woman think like this, she wrong. She wrong for thinking like that. But anyway, I'm done. You guys let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon.